Farlost, created by John Miro.
31. Ahoy, Hascom Lab. This is Captain Sam Travis aboard the Betty. We're alive, but the Betty's listing. No power to the engines. Repeat, main power is offline. Can you provide assistance? Dina couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Even Raj was silent on their team channel. She looked out the dome-shaped canopy that topped the toad and saw his mech standing still over top of the bridge of metal plating they were building to protect the exposed patch job on the main power lines. It all looked so normal. Well, as normal as it could be for a crew that had just survived near-death FTL transit and was now lost in space. Lost in space. The words, an old spacer joke now from an older classic vid, didn't come anywhere close to being funny. She swiveled around and saw Murray's mech, a bright spot of light from one laser welder mounted on one of his mech arms, still securing the metal shield around the patched cabling he'd laid. Just minutes ago, not exploding after surviving a freak meteor storm was the story they were going to be telling their grandkids. What? Beecham's voice came on the public circuit, somewhere between shock and anger. He wants us to help him? He shrieked. The line went dead with a click. Dina could well imagine the ship's commander having choice words with their pain-in-the-ass physicist. Sudden motion from Raj's mech suit dragged Dina's eyes back. Good honest work, Raj said, sounding too calm for Raj. Boss, don't stop yelling at me now. Good honest work is the only thing that might keep me from checking out completely. I'm right there with you, Patel, Dina confessed. Spaceships and aliens? Sure as hell sounded like aliens, right? Raj said, faster and louder. Dina checked his biotelemetry. His heart rate was slightly elevated, but his Depends undergarments were still dry. Or it could be time travel, Murray mused, his voice calm as always and halfway between joking and philosophical. Maybe we're in the future. Murray, come on, man, don't make me cut you with Occam's razor. Raj took the bait, just like Dina could tell Murray had wanted him to. Getting into an absurdly geeky discussion about the likelihood of discovering aliens or being thrown into the future would distract Raj from his own fears. At least long enough, Dina thought, for them to finish the job, swoop down, and grab her team and get back inside to... To what, she wondered. Safety? Not that, she admitted to herself. But Murray was still Murray, taking care of Raj. Some things hadn't changed, she thought, forcing herself not to think about her good doctor, running around with the others from Cellar 1, patching leaks and support systems just meters below the skin of Hascom Heliocentric Lab 6. Forrest will be fine. We got through more than we had any right to, Dina told herself. The universe has got to be too interested in seeing how we do to snuff us out now. Got to be. Dina focused on the radio call, feeling useless otherwise, flying high above, watching Raj and Murray fix things. Commander Montaigne, Captain Travis called again. Daisy, my ship's... One of my crew has scanned your power systems. You've got stable reactor power aboard your, space station. We're a powered heliocentric lab facility, Captain Travis, Commander Montaigne replied. It's good to hear a voice I can recognize. Can you tell me where we are? Dina wished hard for Travis's answer in the silence that followed. She called up a cam and had the Toad's computer find the Betty, hundreds of kilometers away. Enough gabbin', came a rougher voice from the Betty. Are you running tri-rated ADSS cables and couplings or not? Dina squirted a positioning thruster to keep the Toad above the ridge of new metal shielding her team was assembling. Keeping trim and checking her team's progress helped her somehow cut through the impossible and chock-full of nuts nature of the radio call she was listening in on. This is Daisy, came a voice she'd heard before. A not quite right voice, but with far more inflection than any AI she'd ever heard. She'd listened to it talk to the crew from the tram that was now hurtling farther away from the Betty. Heard Daisy offer comfort in its strange, almost human tones to other, less human voices. Dina was very proud she could still shuffle all this into her mental deck. You are in a degrading orbit 1,420 kilometers above a thorn, Daisy continued. I project a 78% chance we can integrate your reactor systems with our Betty's engineering section and avoid both ships falling into the shatter zone. The angry, gruff voice cut in. What the pretty talking tree is saying is that your ship and our ship can both get out of this if our boy parts and your girl parts can still play. Did he say tree? Raj asked. He said tree, Murray murmured back. Daisy's voice. Something too perfect about it, Dina realized. A machine interface can't do it that well. Sorry, what? Beecham blurted, his voice half confused, half excited. Did he say tree? Like with leaves? We're talking to a tree? Beecham! A very exasperated Commander Montaigne called again. Another voice shouted over her, Gruber again. Ah, hell, Hascom, just tell us if you went and created a new power standard since the New York Olympics I missed when my ass got shot into space to mine the belt. Beecham's voice came on again. Of course we've upgraded power systems. I made them upgrade twice just to renew my contract. It's all backwards compatible with your boat, though. I've got the schematics in front of me. Beecham, the commander said over Beecham, and his voice died out. Forgive me, Captain Travis, cut in Commander Montaigne, sounding definitely pissed, Dina thought. We're grateful to hear your voice, and we're definitely in need of some help over here, but we've got a few minutes, and I'd appreciate a crash course. Where the hell are we? Dina pushed her earpiece hard against her ear. Not a sound came over the common line, not even Murray and Raj's usual heavy breathing. A very human sigh from the Betty. Sorry, Commander. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I formally offer you full packs and all the assistance the Betty and my crew can offer. Montaigne was sounding angrier by the second. This time, Dina tapped the volume of her earpiece down a notch. Captain, we don't know you. We don't have the lay of the land. I'm talking to the captain of a ship that's been missing for 100 years in a neighborhood I've never visited before. I know we're pressed for time, but what can you give me in a 30-second sit rep? The gruff voice laughed faintly. I like her, Gruber said. Then Captain Travis was back on the horn. All right, Commander, hold on tight because we don't have time to do this right. When you and your crew went FTL, you were fed to that spiky thing beneath us. We call it a thorn. We can get drunk later and wax philosophical about what the hell really happened, but you're here now, no matter the why. The thorn's noticed you, and it's sucking us down harder. If we don't get our mains back online and boost us free soon, gravity's going to get thick around these parts, and we're going to be crushed. We heard voices, Beecham said, not human voices. You heard right, the captain sighed. The only humans on Betty are me and Ben. To Dina's voice, he sounded sad when he answered, We're all aliens here, man. The silence stretched. Dina was tapping on the canopy glass, risking frostbite before the commander came back on. Captain Travis, you offered peace terms like it was an everyday thing. What are we looking at? What should I expect? Well, not quite an everyday thing, the man laughed. We're no pirates, Hascom, and look, we don't really have a choice but to work together, fast. There's a lot you need to know, but we need to get out of here before we can't. I don't know what a stranger's word is worth to you, but I promise we'll do everything we can to leave you better than we found you. Please, Commander. His voice twisted. Dina heard fear in his voice, but not for himself, she didn't think. I've got to get to my crew before... Enough foreplay, Gruber growled over the line, louder now. We get in bed together now or we die down there. Capiche, Hascom? Is this guy for real? Squeaked Raj. Dina shushed him. Montaigne's voice was a little lighter when she replied. Bottom line is, you've got an engine and we've got the gas. I'm patching in my navigator and science expert. They say we can reach you with the thrust available to us, but mating up won't be pretty, and we won't be much use to you after that. We just need what's in your pants, lady, Gruber joked. Dina laughed out loud. So did Murray on the shared line. And, to Dina's surprise, so did Montaigne on the public one. I've had worse offers. I'm accepting your terms, Captain, Montaigne said. Don't make me regret it. What do you need from us? Get out of the chair, Sam, Gruber's muffled voice said. Then, clearer, he said, First light it up and get your ass up here. Then we tether up. If you can disengage a couple of those, what are they, spaceplane tanks, around your waistline, we can slot you into one of our cargo holds and reinforce your structural integrity before we burn. His voice grew animated. Hell, I might see my kids yet. Dina took a deeper breath than she had since the first rock stabbed HHL-6, hearing the fatherly tone momentarily replace Gruber's caustic one. Rose, find the second EVA mech team and get them ready for whatever we need. You've got EVA teams, Captain Travis interrupted. Do you have a craft or mech? What kind of range? Dina was tapping herself into the public line before she knew what she was doing. Craft, Captain. Dina Rodriguez here, sirs, piloting one of our short-range repair and resupply craft. If we max out on fuel, we can stretch it pretty far, sirs, she shouted out on the party line. 14,000 clicks is the Toad's orbital record. Dina was scared. She was running on adrenaline, but by God, she had a ship, and if she could do some good, she would. I take it your crew needs a lift home? Wait a minute, Beecham said over her. They're going to fly free of this thing, aren't they? Do they have fuel and power to ride it out? Because 2 support ships are better than 1 if we're trying for a hard seal with that ancient piece of No, Travis said, his voice higher and pinched with worry. They'll be lost if we don't get to them soon. LiDAR and the tracking computer say I can get there with plenty left over to match up with you later, Commander, Dina said. Since you're planning on following me up, I can burn fuel all the way. Bold, Rodriguez, Commander Montaigne said, her voice heavy. And brave. Navicoro confirms most of the debris that could foul up the Toad has blown clear of your route. Dina listened to the commander's thoughtful tone. I don't like people dying. A heavy sigh from the commander. In for a penny. You have a go for payload retrieval, pilot. Gas up the car and beeline it. Thank you. 3 different voices called out on top of each other. Dina grinned, already punching buttons and turning the Toad back toward her bay. I'll go straight from school to Sally's house, Mom, I promise, and you can pick me up on the way out of town. What the hell? Muttered Raj on the private line, but he didn't seem at all surprised. Speed freak, Marie called out. Always gotta be first to the party. Dina rode the pressure of her thrusters and her adrenaline junkies high in equal parts as she jockeyed the Toad back to the bay to fill her tanks. Don't worry, boys. I'll bring back some new friends for you to play with.
Farlost. Music by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Learn more at servingworlds.com.
Hi, John Miro here. This month, Farlost is brought to you by Patreon backers like you and executive producer Tom Phoenix. Patronage starts at 25 cents a cliffhanger or $1 a month. Patreon.com. Thank you for your support.